everyone. I've got this lawnmower here that has been pretty good to me over the time. It's a Briggs & Stratton motor. Runs pretty solid. Over time I've changed the boot for the plug. Just did that last week, and I kind of had to rig this brake cable that snapped, and couldn't get another one to match the same length without too much trouble, so I kind of just made a hook here that it'll run. You just have to unhook it when you want it to stop. Anyway, it was all running pretty well until the other day this happened. The wheel snapped right off. The metal sheared off. The deck's rusted. So great, now I don't have a mower. Happen to have this other one over here. Not as good of a mower, but boy, it looks nicer, cleaner. Everything was working until last summer. The engine seized up. Not sure why. Wasn't my mower, but I took ownership of it to try and fix it. And anyway, I think the motor's screwed on this. Might be some good parts. So my project here is I want to put this mower engine that I know runs and put it on this nice looking deck that's got 4 wheels instead of 3, and that's a little project for today. Okay, wasn't too much trouble since I already had it apart last year. It came apart pretty easy, but there's only 3 bolts to the bottom of this. I got the blade off. This is seized up, it can't even move. But anyway, this is the part that isn't working, and came off pretty easy. Next. Okay, so here we are. In Canada, that seems to be 14 millimeters. And the bolts that attach to the deck here, that's a 13, so we'll work on those in a minute. I read online you should disconnect the spark plug before you mess with spinning the blade, just in case. I don't know if I believe that, but safety first. Alright, coming off. Not too hard, actually. Good. Okay, yeah, so it came off. Keep these pieces together so we don't mess them up or lose them. That doesn't have to come apart. We gotta get those 3 bolts off, and hopefully Bob's your uncle. So you can imagine these bolts been on here a while. They seem to be a little stuck, so we're gonna trust the WD. See if we can get them to loosen up for me. Give that a second or two. See what happens. So I got one of the bolts moving, but still I'm afraid I'm gonna break them off. So I saw this on top here. These are the bolts right through. So let's give them a squirt on the top too. Maybe that'll help. One in there. It needs a little extra. And I know there's one more. The other side. Because it's just like the other one, there's 3. There it is. Well, even with some WD-40, 2 of them are being very persistent, so I'm going to bang away at them for a little bit until we get some action here. Alright, well, after a little more perseverance, I got the second one moving. The third one's a bit trouble, and in the process I'm switching to a 1/2 inch instead of the whatever it was, 13 millimeter. Looks like they're just a hair different. And we're still at it. Alright, we got one out. A little more elbow grease than I expected, but praise the WD-40 for making those things move. They are moving. They've probably been on there for 20 years. I don't know how old this mower is, but sure looks like it. Anyway, slow progress. Alright, we got all 3 bolts out. 2 of them have these little template plates or something. The third one didn't. I'm not sure if it was missing or at the factory or It's got a washer, a lock washer, but it doesn't have them. Don't know. And I guess the other main thing to do when you start on engine is drain the gas, which I forgot, but luckily it's drying up pretty fast. So next step, get this cable off here and see how it looks if we can put it on the other deck. All right, well, that's off of there and placed on top of here. I'll say one thing about these mower manufacturers, at least they use a standard 3-bolt pattern. Yeah, it's going to be the same perfect lineup. Should line up perfectly. So before I go any further, I'm going to clean this up a little bit, get some of this grass cake on under here. Maybe it'll help balance the machine out. It's not too bad underneath, but I'm going to go a little further with the wire brush and with a wire attachment. You get the idea. So you can imagine a lot of paint came off. I think I've got a can of some sort of trim clad or rust paint or something. I'm gonna give it a go. Painted the deck underneath. It'll be good enough for a while. Now I noticed this when I took it apart. The older mower had these bolts. The newer mower that we're using the deck had these bolts. Clearly they're different. And these are the ones that I need to that go into the engine mount for that mower over there. So I have to use these. Problem is the hole doesn't fit. It's meant for these ones. And it came out of there, they just slide right in and out. So that's no good. So I'm gonna have to round these holes out a little bit in order to get these to go through so they'll properly bolt onto the engine. Stay tuned. All right, I determined that the larger, older bolts need a hole that is 3/8. So rounded that one out already, and we'll do another one. And perfect. All right, Frankenstein is coming to life. I got her bolted down. She's all set up. And with any luck, I got this brake cable from this apparatus, this frame, to fit here. So next, just get the blade on and see how she goes. All right, so the two motors, the blade bolts on two different ways. This one's got a pin to hold it in the drive shaft, and this has got a mount. The other one just has one bolt, and you line up the blade with those little protrusions. So looking at the two blades side by side, what I do notice is this one's slightly longer, and another thing I notice is it is really bent out of shape, man. This one is the older, the one that wasn't working, rusted and stuff, but I'm not sure which one's gonna work. But this thing is, look at that. That's crazy bent. Yeah, so you can tell that these holes that line up with the pins on the drive shaft do not line up with those ones. It's just, I may have to buy a new blade. Might be better than trying to straighten this thing. Okay, so I'm back from the store. Installed brand new blade. Looks good. We clamp the brake cable because you need to do that. It doesn't run. That's what they want you to do. Let's see if it goes. Excellent. Mission accomplished.